Welcome back to another North Carolina Tar Heels football recruiting podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. Or if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, that is Tar Heel Illustrated. If you're checking us out on Facebook, we're Tar Heel Illustrated there. If you're not, head over there. Trey Scott has got a ton of really cool stuff happening on our Facebook page. We have increased traffic on that page about 700 times what it was just in the last few months because of the stuff that Trey is doing. And of course, if you're following us through Twitter, that is at Heel Illustrated, but you need to go over to TarHeelIllustrated.com. For just $8.33 a month, you can be a Carolina Tar Heel insider too, and have a lot of access to Miss King, to David Sisk and everybody, because lots of questions are asked on the boards, and that is where we answer everything. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones. She's our director of football recruiting, Miss Deana King. Everybody knows who she is. And I should steal the Brandon P line for you the other day, the queen of North Carolina football recruiting, Miss Deana King. I thought that was a good line that Brandon threw in there.
Yeah.
Deana, we're here to discuss the activity in June. Pop it again. Curtis Simpson is the fourth player in a week? Fourth kid in a week?
Well, he was the third official visitor.
Yeah, third official visitor. Fourth
in this
commitment,
past weekend.
I believe. Yeah, fourth commitment in the last week for North Carolina. He pops here on Tuesday. Three-star defensive end from Kings Mountain High School in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Number 20 overall prospect in the state of North Carolina. Number 34 nationally at his position. I'll throw some more stuff out there here in a few minutes. But Deana, your thoughts on Curtis Simpson? And let me preface it by saying you've been kind of feeling this here for a while, and you were making it pretty clear on the board. You thought that this was eventually going to happen.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident that Curtis was a really pro-lean UNC for a long time. I mean, he just didn't go visit anywhere else. He hadn't even scheduled any official visits anywhere else except North Carolina. And, he just basically, when I spoke to him, he said, that's where he wanted to be. That was home. He felt comfortable with everybody there, the coaches, the players, and the culture there. It's just everything he wanted to be around. I mean, and so North Carolina, they had a lot of guys in this past week, and this was, like we said, the third official visitor to commit. So very successful weekend for North Carolina. We was asked on the message board if they got one the prior weekend with Timothy Lawson. Now they got three. A North Carolina kid who plays in one of the best high school football areas in the state of North Carolina in Cleveland County. He put up some humongous numbers for Kings Mountain, helped them to a 13-1 season. He's just really dynamic on the edge. And that's where North Carolina sees him as a jack. Brandon P. saw Curtis at a Under Armour camp in Charlotte earlier this year, and had some good video. We've linked the video on his articles and everything.
Yeah.
But just I think he's a dynamic player, and they needed somebody to be dynamic off the edge like that.
Well, we threw around the word violent when we talked about Cruz Law, because honestly, that's a word that emerged this spring. Max said it a couple times. Gosh, Gene Chiswick said it several times. I even asked him about the violence, and he described what it is. And they're looking for more violent kids. And Curtis Simpson clearly fits the description as being a kid who excels in the violent aspect of football. And it is obviously a very violent sport.
Yeah. And like I said, he plays at Kings Mountain, and you got Shelby, Crest, Burns, all in that county. They play great football there. Comes from a great program, a winning program. And so like many of the other ones, coming in with a winning mentality, and just he didn't waste any time because I spoke to him Sunday after his official visit, and he said it was coming soon. So I even told you, I'm like, we need to start getting ready to get
Yeah.
prepared for Curtis Simpson. So
Technically, he chose Carolina, and I say technically because some of his other offers were Michigan, Auburn, Ole Miss, the Hokies, West Virginia, Cincinnati, which is moving to the Big 12, and they really upped their recruiting game a lot, parlaying that CFP appearance. So I think when you get a kid over Cincinnati, I think it's worth noting now. Those are a lot of good football programs. Obviously, Michigan being what it is, and Auburn with its occasional flare-ups nationally. So this is somebody that could have gone a lot of places. And the reason we bring this up is because some Carolina fans have been a little, hey, some of these guys we're getting don't have great offer sheets. I think when you have Michigan and Auburn and Ole Miss and schools like that, that's a pretty damn good offer sheet.
mm-hmm. And fourth commitment from North Carolina. I know a lot of people were kind of getting concerned, with the lack of North Carolina kids, but some years maybe the prospects are not a great fit for what North Carolina is looking for. This year the class of 2024 is predominantly very good at wide receiver position, and that's a position that North Carolina hasn't got a kid committed yet, and I expect that to happen pretty soon because they're the next 2 weekends, and the last weekend is huge where they have a lot of their wide receiver targets coming in.
And also Michael Merdinger. We're going to do a daily drop where we go a little bit more into that. In fact, that will probably run Wednesday tomorrow. So you got to go to our daily drops anyway. We hit on all kinds of stuff, current news. We go back in time. I've been covering UNC and the ACC and pro sports in the area for 27 years, been on this job now for 9. And we do a lot of things about what I've seen in the past. So the daily drops are a myriad of all kinds of Carolina related stuff. So you won't want to miss the one that we do. We look ahead to the last 2 official visit weekends of the month. He is the 17th commit in the class of 24, as you noted, 4th from North Carolina. I do agree with you on the North Carolina part. I think it's important that they get some more kids from North Carolina just so we stop having to answer the questions about why aren't they getting kids from North Carolina. But they have expanded their footprint. So a little teaser, we're going to hit on that in the Daily Drop pod when we look ahead to the last 2 recruiting weekends. Any final thoughts on Curtis Simpson?
No, I think he's a dynamic player. He was one of the kids that was at Chapel Hill numerous times, so you knew he wanted to be there. So they got a tremendous player in Curtis Simpson.
Curtis Simpson, 3-star.
And it's in an area that Mac has tried to increase the North Carolina's presence. They got Malachi Hamrick, from Shelby. Another potential target is Javaris Green from Crest. So he's a wide receiver that North Carolina's recruiting. So they're trying to get back into that area that has some, like I said, some great football.
That's a great point. And we're not going to focus too much on in-state in that drop, but specifics about in-state. But you and I have done a couple pods talking about the importance of that area over the last several years. That's an area where Larry Fedora routinely lost in battles recruiting kids over there. Max won a couple. But as you've noted, it's going to take a while to be more consistent in that area because a lot of those kids have gone other places and excelled. So Curtis Simpson is a big score from there. Curtis Simpson, 3-star defensive end, Kings Mountain High School. He is the latest member of the class of 24 to commit to North Carolina. She's Deana King. I'm AJ. We appreciate you stopping by.